Shown MC back here for Umineko, episode 4. Let's get started.
このゲストハウスっつうのは記憶にねえな。これ、建てたのは最近か？
Tauraian, Visitor's Retreat, was written on a gatepost-like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the roses, had a magnificent design, carefully done in harmony with the garden.
正解だよ。建ったのはつい一昨年さ。それ以降は僕たちはこっちに泊めさせてもらってるんだよ。
年季の入ったボロ屋敷よりこっちの方が好評みてえだしな。
I wanted to go to the mansion so bad.
私も自分の部屋をこっちに持ちたいぜ。マリアも持ちたい。持ちたい。
I guess you could say my own house was upper class, but to me, it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they built this kind of awesome guest house for guests who came over only a few times a year.
エヴァ様、秀吉様、こちらのお部屋をお使いくださいませ。ルドルフ様、キリエ様はこちらのお部屋をお使いくださいませ。
やっぱりここは綺麗で上品でいいわね。洋風って本当に素敵だわ。
It can be.
ほんの2、3日なら洋風もええやろが、ずっといて落ち着くのは断固和風やで。日本人は畳の上が一番くつろげるんや。
Not too surprising.
新しい家を和風にするか洋風にするかで喧嘩してね。お父さんが和風で着工させたのを母さんまだ根に持ってよく言い合いをするんだよ。
ジョージ兄さんのところは両親仲が良くて羨ましいぜ。
I'm not really sure about that,
うちなん
honestly.
か冷め切ったもんさ。そのくせ私の成績の話だけは連帯しやがる。
All the rooms seemed to be for two people. I was grateful since I wasn't gonna be forced to share the same room with the old bastard, under the pretext that we were family. And anyway, I figured those two wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around.
何気持ち悪い顔で笑ってんの
No,
よ。
it's like,
どう
like
せ
that.
下世話なこと考えてるんでしょ
No.
下世話なんてとんでもない。どうぞごゆっくりお過ごしくださいませ。あ、いててててて、言えたよ、クソ親父。
Once a dad pulled my ears from behind.
バカなこと言ってんじゃねえ。俺は胃がキリキリ痛み始めてて、とてもそんな元気はわかねえぜ。今回はお前が主賓だろうが、せいぜい親父や兄貴たちに可愛がられるよ。親父の前では言葉遣いにだけ気をつけろ。あの人、本当にシャレが通じねえからな。
That would be a huge relief, honestly.
ジェシカちゃん、我らが当主様のご機嫌は最近どうなんだ？
去年から相変わらずかな。余命3ヶ月余命3ヶ月って割には相変わらずピンピンカリカリイライラしてるって話です。
今年も相変わらず不機嫌ってわけね。お守りができるのはやっぱり源氏さんだけなの？
親方様も源氏さんにだけは心を許しておいでのようです。私たち下々では近頃はお目通りすらなかなか叶わず、
また書斎に閉じこもって怪しげな黒魔術三昧じゃねえのかな。何をやろうとてめえの趣味だから構わねえけど、匂いが立ち込める系は勘弁してほしいもんだぜ。ついでにそのまま書斎から永久に出てくんなってんだ。
年長の人にそんな言い方をするもんじゃないよ。
Good point.
後宮家を復興させてくれた大恩人なんだから、もっと感謝しないと。
I have a feeling the whole family's gonna have to pay for the consequences, though. Let's be real here.
まあ、ごめん。
After being rebuked by George Aniki, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but, of course, that meant all its members were a bit strange. and completely out of touch with the world at large. At the top of the chain, the family head, our grandfather, seemed especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were jealous of us grandchildren, who could just play around and laugh without a care. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his own children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword. He was so strict and uptight about that. Why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kids' names? You know what? That actually makes sense. Because of that, even us grandkids had to suffer. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. I don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. I remember that the room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around. You couldn't even breathe. Yeah, that's not good. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph for me.
6年前は俺も小学生だったが、さすがに今は高校生だ。失礼のある態度なんか取ったら大変なことになるかもしれねえな。
Yep.
怖い怖い。
確かにこわもてだけど、そんなに硬くなるほど怖い人じゃないよ。決して理不尽なことは言ってないもん。口下手なだけでちゃんと筋は通す人だよ。
We'll see about that.
ジョージ兄さんは昔から成績優秀で一族の鏡じゃ
Yeah,
な
I
いかよ。
know.
私たちとじゃじい様の待遇が
Right,
全
he's the
然違
golden
うぜ。
boy.
私なんか木刀で引っ叩かれたことあるしよ。尻だぜ尻。それも乙女の生尻をよ。
ジェシカちゃんは本家の跡取り娘だもん。おじい様も特に目をかけてくれてるんだよ。その厳しさは期待の気持ちの裏返しだと思わなくちゃ。
冗談じゃねえぜ。その跡取りってやつはジョージ兄さんに譲るよ。私が担ぐにはちょいとしんどいぜ。
I think I'd already said it before, but Jessica's the girl heir to the head family. We're the only cousins in branch family, so she probably feels totally different. A totally different sort of pressure than we do. Yeah, she doesn't really seem like the head of a family kind of person.
ジェシカお姉ちゃんが重い？マリアが持ったら軽くなる？うん？サンキューな。大丈夫。マリアちゃんには押し付けねえよ。この十字架は私が墓まで背負ってくよ。安心しなって。
She was grateful for Maria's innocent concern, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future.
マリアいらっしゃい。お母さんとマリアはこの部屋よ。
バトラ君は僕と一緒にこっちの部屋だってさ。
おお、なになに、こりゃ驚いた。親たちの部屋より広めじゃないのよ。わお。
どうせいとこ同士で集まるだろうと思ってよ。大きめの部屋にするように言っておいたんだ。
Nice.
おお、マリアもこっちがいい。ママと一緒よりこっちがいい。おお。
そうか、マリアもこっちがいいか。よし、ここは俺とジョージ兄貴の部屋だが、特別に出入りを許可してやろう。お母さんには内緒だぞ。内緒。
Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched tight. He's such a goofball. After setting down their luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corner.
おいガキども、お前らはどうする？ここでいとこ同士おしゃべりでもしてるか？
It seemed they were heading into the mansion to announce their arrival. Normally they would make us follow them and greet everyone together, but if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that would be the end of it. He's saying it's okay if we don't come, so what will we do?
どうせもうすぐお昼や。子供はそこでくつろいでたらええ。 それに表で遊べるのは下手をすると今のうちだけかもしれんしの。
マリアも行く。マリアはここでお留守番してなさい。いたずらをしないでおとなしく待ってるのよ。
We'll see what happens there.
うーん
Since Maria was being told to sit here, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. George Aniki noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply for all of us cousins.
じゃあ僕たちはお言葉に甘えて留守番してようか。1年ぶりに積もる話もあるしね。
それがいいわ。バトラ君なんか6年分積もっ
6
てるんだ
years,
しね。
yeah.
へいへい。お子ちゃまな俺はおとなしくお留守番してるぜ。
熊沢さん、私もこっちに残るからよ。あとは大人に任せて若者は退散してるぜ。
それがおよろしいでしょう。奥様にはその。
それでは皆様、お屋敷の方へご案内させていただきます。どうぞこちらへ。
他の子はともかく、ジョージは成人してるんだから連れて行った方がいいんじゃない？
そんなんでジョージだけ仲間外れはかわいそうやで。いとこ同士の交流も大事や。ほな、行ってくるで。
The adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Goda-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George Aniki asked us to excuse him for a second. He rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. He soon finished his business and came back.
どうしたんだよ、兄貴。
ああ、なんでもないよ。ちょっと聞きたいことがあっただけさ。
マリアにも聞いた。マリアにも聞いた。
何かな。ジョージ兄さんが私に聞かなくて熊沢さんには聞くことって何かな。なあ、全然見当がつかねえぜ。
いや、誤解だよ。ジェシカちゃんが何を誤解してるのか知らないけど。
Right. Aniki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It was almost as though he felt guilty about something, and Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's no fun if Jessica gets to know about it and not me.
なあ、マリア。俺たちだけのけ者なんてねえよな。
Don't you want to know what they're talking about?
バトラとマリアも聞きたい。バトラとマリアも聞きたい。
Okay, him doing it with her is pretty funny. I fooled around while oohing together with Marie. Okay, that's funny, dude.
いや、だから大したことじゃ。
さっつけ。兄貴にしちゃ嘘が下手だぜ。拍手しやがれ。マリア、お前は右脇をくすぐれ。俺は左脇だ。
マリアは右脇だ。バトラは左脇だ。
ちょっと二人ともやめて。やめ。
Marie and I played around, chasing George Aniki as he tried to escape rolling on the bed. I realize high schoolers aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still miss this kind of fun. Yeah, a warm, cozy kind of fun.
ジョージ兄さんが熊沢さんに聞いたのはね。まあほらあれだぜ。兄さんも本家は1年ぶりだからよ。その間に辞めた使用人とか入った使用人とか、そういうのがいたら挨拶したいって、そういうことらしいぜ。
挨拶する。マリアも挨拶する。
なんだよそれ。全然やましくねえじゃねえかよ、兄貴。違うな。マリア、騙されるな。兄貴は何か隠してるぞ。尋問再開だ。おりゃ。
やめてよ本当に。
Alright, let's... There we go.
マリ ヤちゃんも、もうやめて。
多分掃除とか昼飯の準備とかで忙しいんだよ。大丈夫。後でちゃんと挨拶に来るぜ。ゴーダの出しゃばりの出迎えよりシャノンの出迎えの方が良かったってんだろ。
へいへいへい。
シャノン？シャノン。ああ、思い出したぜ。そんな子もいたな。今も使用人やってんのか？元気かよ。
そういや、夏日姉さん、最近頭痛の方はどうなんや。一時だいぶしんどそうにしとったろ。
おかげで最近はだいぶ調子がいいです。心配をしてくれてありがとう。
夏日。
そうだ、これ夏日姉さんにお土産。
いつもありがとう。あなたには何かをもらってばかりね。これは紅茶？
ペパーミントとレモンバームのハーブティー。
It's a blend from a well-known store, and it's supposed to be good for
姉さんにも
headaches.
効くかなって思って。
Rosa was always a conscientious woman. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Probably because she was the youngest of four, and much younger than the other three. She managed to grow up without gaining the venomous nature of her siblings. Good for her, honestly. Her kind words got Natsuhi to soften her expression for just a moment. But it wasn't enough to melt her stony gaze, harden as though by long years of mental stress.
そういえばあなた、いっつも頭痛だって言ってたわね。しっかりなさいな。ジェシカちゃん、今年は受験でしょ？人生の節目じゃない。母親のあなたがそんなじゃ頼りないわよ。それに夏日姉さん、私より3つも若いんだから。
So bitchy.
もうちょっとしっかりなさい。
Yeah, not great.
ごめんなさい。生まれつきの頭痛持ちなもので。
Even under normal circumstances, Ava sometimes failed to choose her words carefully. But her comments aimed at Natsuhi contained shards of obvious malice, though she hid it with a smile. Of course, that fact didn't escape Natsuhi. She frantically contained her urge to grimace and pretended to ignore Ava.
うちのバトラ君も今年は受験でしょ？ルドルフさんも少しは関心を持ったら？自分の息子のために夏日姉さんみたいに頭痛になるくらい真剣になりなさいよ。
俺が何か言えば必ず反抗するやつだぜ。
Yeah.
じゃあなんて言うんだ。むしろ逆で遊んでていいぞっていうのか、あいつそういうのだけは素直に聞きやがるぜ。秀吉兄さんのところは受験本当にうまくいったじゃないですか。ぜひ子供操縦術の秘訣を教えてくださいよ。
そうやな。何のために勉強するのかっちゅうことを説いたかもしれんな。個々の勉強に意味があるわけやないんや。そう、勉強っちゅうのはわからんことを自分で調べて身につけるという行為の練習。
I'm surprised.
これができんやつは社会に出ても使い物にならん。
Exactly. 100%.
国語算数ができろと言ってるんやない。勉強し身につけることを学べっちゅうことやな。
ご立派ですわ。うちのジェシカにもそれが理解できればいいんだけど、今のままではとてもじゃないけど後宮家の跡取りとしては。いいじゃないの、無理に跡取りにしなくても。女には女の幸せというものもあるんだし、それを親が押し付けちゃ悪いわよ。
予算買えば子供の育て方は家それぞれや。押し付けがましいのはあかんで。
ごめんなさい。夏日姉さんも気を悪くしないでね。
She's so creepy. The light shining through the window was quite warm despite the cloudy weather. There was a dark mood about the room, which was probably causing headaches for more than just Natsuhi. As if to sweep away that mood, Kyrie brightly made a suggestion to all present.
でも、本当に素敵な香りの紅茶ね。早速いただいてみましょうよ。レオポルドの紅茶なんて、日本じゃ確か銀座でしか買えなかったはずよ。
キリエ姉さんはお詳しいですね。買ってきた甲斐がありました。
Kiria and Rosa stood up from their seats and made as if to prepare the black tea, but Natsuhi forestalled them.
お二人ともありがとう。それは後でいただきましょう。
Mm-hmm.
うちの者がすぐお茶を持ってきますので、どうぞおくつろぎください。
二人とも後にしろよ。ウェルカムドリンクくらいごちそうになろうぜ。
Rudolph gave a subtle signal with his eyes for them to sit down again. Kiria and Rosa understood instantly and obediently returned to their seats. The initial greeting of the guests was complete, so it was time for them to be served some tea. It was embarrassing for the host that the tea was late, especially now that the guests were talking about making tea themselves. Natsuhi bit her lower lip, frustrated by the ineptitude of the servants who were late bringing the tea. Seeing her face, Ava immediately started to giggle. Of course, Shannon had no way of knowing what was taking place in the parlor. She came pushing a serving cart piled with teacups. For no apparent reason, Natsuhi gave her a pained look, and Shannon couldn't help but flinch without knowing what she had done wrong.
失礼いたします。お茶のご用意をさせていただきます。
おう、シャノンちゃん、久しぶりやの。ますますべっぴんさんになりよったな。
いえ、どうも。
おしゃべりは配膳を済ませてからになさい。お茶が冷めます。
申し訳ございません、奥様。
She apologized like a small frightened animal, bumped against the serving cart, and made a jarring racket as she dropped several teaspoons. Her clumsiness made Natsuhi's expression turn even darker, which made Shannon quail even more.
いいのよ、夏日姉さん。挨拶の一つくらいしたってどうってことないわよ。もう十分待たされてる分、十分お茶も冷めてるもの。
Wow, she must really freaking hate Natsuhi.
それは大丈夫です。冷めてはおりませんので。
シャノン、早く配膳を済ませなさい。
失礼しました、奥様。
Natsuhi's irritation was obvious by now. The ineptitude that delayed the tea, the clumsiness of the servant, everything pointed to the incompetence of Natsuhi's everyday leadership, making her lose face. Yep. As the person in charge of the Ushiromiya head family's kitchen, allowing that clumsiness to be exposed, today of all days, was surely nothing less than total humiliation.
よせよ、夏日姉さん。シャノンちゃんだって頑張ってるのに、いじめちゃかわいそうだぜ。
いじめてなんかいません。
She's not really being that bad, honestly. Her sister's way worse.
お茶の銘柄を聞いてもいいかしら。
申し訳、後ほど調べてまいります。
Kiria was trying to be nice, hoping to cut through the tense mood. However, Shannon had embarrassed herself instead, darkening Natsuhi's face in the room's mood. At this point, Ava was audibly giggling.
なーに？
She's so bitchy, dude.
シャノンちゃん、自分で入れてるものが何かもわからないの？
She's insufferable.
ダメよ。そんな怪しげなものを来客に振る舞っちゃ。こんなお茶じゃ銀のスプーンでもないと飲めないわよ。
すみません。すぐに用意を。
ねえシャノンちゃん、銀のスプーンって何に使うか知ってる？銀じゃないとダメなのよ。なぜかわかる？
いえ、
A teasing smile rose to Ava's face as she stared at Shannon setting the table. By itself, Ava's expression was sweet in an impish sort of way. However, the words being spun from her lips held the keenness of a razor within them. Shannon tried with all her might to avoid Ava's continuing gaze. Realizing that Shannon was hard-pressed for an answer, Rosa gave some timely help.
銀は毒に触れると曇るって言われてるの。
Aha!
シャノンちゃんも一つお勉強ができたわね。
They were acting as though this tea needed to be tested for poison before it could be drunk. In Natsuhi's eyes, this was an insult both to the tea and to herself for serving it. Rudolph laughed flippantly and patted Ava's shoulder.
姉貴に銀食器なんていらねえだろ。毒舌の姉貴が人舐めしたら
Get wrecked,
真っ
bitch.
黒に曇っ
Let's
ちまう
go.
ぜ。
I kind of like the dad, I'm not gonna lie.
わしはその毒舌を毎日聞かされとるから、もう毒に耐性がついてし
Yeah,
もうたわ。
he's too nice for her.
エヴァもわし
Honestly.
相手には構わんが、耐性のない相手にはちいと加減せんとな。
あらあら、ひどい。シャノンちゃんにお茶の知識を教えてあげただけじゃない。
Everyone followed the lead set by Hideyoshi's horse laugh and chuckled, though not easily. Only Natsuki didn't join in, but for the time being, the conversation inside the parlor could now be mistaken for a lively and friendly chat. As Shannon finally finished setting the tea table and tried to leave, Kyrie apologized to her in a low voice for not being able to help. Shannon gave a light bow and made a hasty retreat. Shannon cast her eyes downwards as she pushed the cart down the corridor. Anyone seeing the pitiful way she looked might easily conclude that she'd been bullied in some way.
気を落とさないで。姉さんは何も悪くない。
Okay?
見てたのね。
I guess they're both gloomy.
そういうお役目だから。奥様もエヴァ様も地獄へ落ちろ。
Oh, damn.
でも、それより卑劣なのはあいつだ。
Kanan glared hatefully in the opposite direction of the parlor. This complicates things. Interesting. The preparations for the tea had been delayed by some trifling problems in the kitchen. These problems were not Shannon's fault. In fact, it had been Goda's mistake. After all, there was no way to a show-off like Goda would give up a flashy job like bringing in tea when the guests arrived. He ended up wasting time preparing the tea once again. So when he realized he wouldn't be able to score any points for this job, he pushed the task of setting the table on Shannon, who appeared to be passing by. You might call it a clever move on his part. There could be no doubt it was a cowardly one. Interesting.
ありがとう、カノン君。私、全然気にしていないし。
No way. Kanan's silence vividly expressed the distance between Shannon's words and how she actually felt.
ありがとう。カノン君だけでも分かってくれたんで、ちょっと心が楽に
She's
な
a
ったか
trooper,
な。
though.
姉さんは心にいろいろ溜め込みすぎる。たまには自分に優しくしてあげて。
Yeah.
ありがとうね。
Suddenly, they both felt someone's presence and whirled around. A middle-aged man stood there. This guy's freaky looking. It was Genji, the head servant.
そこで何をしている？チャノン、早く厨房に戻りなさい。
あ、はい、失礼いたしました。
Shannon humbly obeyed and promptly made to push the cart and leave. However, Kanan appealed to Genji in silence, bearing something in his eyes that he could not express in words.
どうした？何かあったか？
シャノンは何も悪くないのに、あいつら。
やめて、カノン君。失礼しました。すぐに仕事に戻ります。カノン君も自分の持ち場に戻って。お願い。
姉さんがそう言うなら。
何事もないなら、そうしなさい。
はい。失礼します。
From the shadows in the hallway, an old woman wearing an apron watched over them. It was Kumasawa.
おいたわしや。シャノンさん、カノンさん。あの二人がいじめられる理由は何もないのです。しかし、ゴーダさんに嫌われているのは紛れもない事実。
That's so
ゴーダさんは
strange.
後ろ宮本家へいらっしゃられるまで、どこかの立派なホテルにお勤めだったそうです。
Makes sense.
そこで身につけられたというお仕事ぶりは、そりゃ大したものだとは思います。ただ、ゴーダさんはここでは最も年季の短い主演。
Yeah, he's just trying to get ahead.
ご自身のそれまでの積み重ねによるプライドもあられたのでしょう。
Yeah.
彼は自分より長い年季を持ちながらも、未熟で人生経験も及ばないシャノンさんとカノン君をことあるごとにいびられるのです。また 気の毒なことに、
Yep.
夏日奥様にも嫌われております。もちろん年季という意味では奥様の方が長くこの家におられます。
Dang. She's a lot. I always thought she was pretty shrewd, but this is
こ
next
ればかり
level.
は奥様にも同情しなくてはなりません。本当に親方様も罪作りな方でございます。ご自身のちょっとした気まぐれが奥様にこれほどまでの劣等感をお与えになるとはどうして思い至らなかったのでしょう。もちろん奥様とて内心はあの二人に辛く当たる言われは何もないことを重々承知してはおります。しかしそれが理屈で分かっているからといってどうにもならないのが人の心。ああ、おいたわしや。私には何もできず。
Really?
こうして物陰から見守ることしかできないのです。
Ah, that's cool. Also, the 12 o'clock is red, so don't know what's up with that. Okay. That looks like a good place to stop. Yeah, but things, obviously, they're not as they seem. There seems to be some drama behind the surface, but we're not really sure. Like, everything just seems to be kind of like regular drama, where there's some sort of personal problem we don't know about the characters yet that's driving all these interactions. Because every interaction between characters is sort of... It's like there's a tension that's underneath the surface. And so people are always using humor and stuff and like goofy anime stuff in order to kind of lessen the tension so people don't lose face. But it seems like this is just going to keep compounding the problems more and more as we go on. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. With that, I'm Shonen C, and I'll see you all in the next episode.